All right, so let's talk through the last few problems we didn't have a chance to finish in class. So I want you to just kind of watch the video, and then I'm going to let you kind of think through how we did these. So we're going to start by this one down here. We're going to work on the triangular problem with a base of 35 centimeters and an area of 819 square centimeters. I want to figure out the height. So to do this, I've really got to come back to that same formula we've been working with on the entire paper. 1/2 base times height. So that's the area of how to find the area of a triangle. So to do that, we've actually got to go in and plug in what we know, what are known figures. So we know the area is 819, so we're going to plug that in for A. 1/2 won't change no matter what, and we know the base is 35. And finally, we know the height. Well, that's the one we don't know. There's our unknown, so we're going to leave that as H. So now we need to combine our like terms, combine our numbers that we can combine. So we've got to do 1/2 times 35. So when I do that, I get 17.5 times the height equals 819. Now again, this is why they created calculators. I expect you guys to be using these on the test as we walk through these. So you're going to divide 819, you're going to balance the equation, divide 17.5 off both sides, just like this, and solve 819 divided by 17.5. And when you finish the math, you're going to figure out the height of that entire figure. So when I get that, I go the height must be 46.8 centimeters. And I can always test this by coming back into the problem and go, okay, well, I want to check my work. 1/2 of 35 times 46.8. So let's test that. 35 times 46.8, I get 1,638. And then I'm going to multiply that by 1/2 to get a total answer of 819. That's what I started with, so this answer has to be correct. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Let's take a look at the compound area. This one on the top, the area of the shaded region in the figure. So there are two ways to do this, but the most beneficial way, the easiest way, is to go ahead and find the area of the shaded region and subtract the area of the unshaded region. Okay? So to do that, we're going to find the area. That's a parallelogram. So to find parallelogram, it's area equals base times height. And the one below it is another parallelogram. So we're going to subtract the area of that one of base times height. So let's plug in our information we do know. So I'm really going to think 15 times 6 minus 2 times 7. So I have my base and my height. So I get 15 times 6 is 90. And I'm going to subtract 14. And when I get that answer, I go, okay, well, I know that's 76 centimeters squared. Okay? So now I've got, Daddy's recording the video. Now that I've got this walkthrough, you really want to just think the shaded figure minus the unshaded figure. This is what you want to figure out. Okay? So you really want to take the shaded area minus the unshaded area, and you can find your answer that way. The last two problems on the paper are problems on the coordinate plane. So the first thing this one wants us to do, we got to figure out what we want. So it wants me to graph the figure, there's 1 point, classify it, and then find the area. So I really have 3 steps on this problem. Step 1 is graph. Okay. Step 2 is classify, so I want to name it. Okay. And finally, the third one is I need to find area. So I can't do that until I know what type of shape I'm working with. So we're going to graph 1 over 2 up. So 1 on the x, 2 on the y. 2 over 6 up. That's right here. Now we're going to go 4 over 6 up. And then finally, 6 over 2 up. All right, so I can see right here, I've got a trapezoid. So that's graph 1. I'm going to name it a trapezoid, so that's part 2. Now that I've got that graph, I've got to kind of figure out the height and the 2 bases. Well, I know base, our top base, is 2. I can count 1, 2. The bottom base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's 5. And then my height is always measured at 90 degrees from the base. So I've got 4 here. So I'm going to plug into that formula. Area equals 1/2 of base 1, which is 5, plus 2 times the height, which is 4. So I'm going to come in and do 7 times 4, all times 1/2. Well, because this is uneven, or I can take either one, I know this is 28, 1/2 of 28. So the area for this figure is a total of 14. And I can kind of take a look at that and see if that works out right. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got 10 full figures here, and then I've got a bunch of smaller ones that equal that 14 units squared. Okay, now let's take a look at this next one. The next one says I cannot graph it. I need to describe how to find the side lengths without graphing. So no longer can I do what I did on the previous problem. So I need to find the change in x, the x-coordinate, and the change in the y-coordinate. Okay? So I look for 2 different x's. Well, here's one x, here's a different x. So I've got 2 and 7. What's the difference between 7 minus 2? So I have my x value. So if I have an x-coordinate, I've got 5. And then I want to find the change in my y-coordinates. Well, these are my 2 y-coordinates, 6 and 3. So 6 minus 3 is 3. So I have a length, or x would be the base, of 5, and a height of 3. Just showing me that will help me understand that you understand that x has to do with horizontal, and base has to do with that vertical, that y-coordinate. Okay? So that's the 4 problems that we didn't get to in class. If you have any questions, please stop by tomorrow, and we'll talk about it before school.